The time is now! Let's turn it on and see the flames. What's up, YouTube? My name is Saxon, and you're watching Schmotzfight. And in this video, we're gonna finally put the Lamborghini transmission back in our Segola SEMA build. In previous videos, we had just taken this entire transmission and clutch out of this Lamborghini. We finished cleaning up that transmission, and mwah, chef's kisses. It is beautiful. We did an excellent job cleaning it. We finished painting the engine, and now we are going to finally reinstall that transmission. What's happening? Before we put this transmission back in, I figured it now was a good time to finish cleaning up all of this ugly aluminum. Over the years, it has gotten really corroded on both sides. We're just going to use a regular drill and some aluminum polish and give it a shot, see how it cleans up. And in just that short amount of time, boom, look at that. Needs a little more polishing, but we went from that to that in like 30 seconds. Let's go ahead and finish all the rest of these bars so we can put this transmission in. Honestly, as I was polishing it, I kind of realized that I sort of hate it. This is super boomerish. We're going to try a different technique later, but for now, let's go ahead and put that transmission in. What do you guys think? Is it boomer? Boomer? Not boomer. Boomer? Not a big fan of chrome.
What is okay, boomer? Thank you.
I just took a wire wheel to this side, and I think I like this finish better than the obnoxious chrome polish. And it definitely matches other parts of the engine better, like that brushed aluminum look there and there. So yeah, I think we're going to do this to all of this. And then I remembered that we have one of these bad boys sitting around. This thing is magic. Watch this. Hey, Ma, look. Oh, yeah. Exactly what we're looking for. Oh, yeah. That came out damn near brand new. There's still a little pitting, but that looks way better.
I make this look good.
Little improvements. We are getting there. Time to put that train in. You need one really stupid thing Lamborghini did with this engine. Hey, look right there. That is the oil filter. You have to buy a special tool just to get your hand in there, just to open up the oil filter. Maybe not the wisest. On the more modern 5.2 Lamborghini V10, they put the oil filter right here, so you could actually get it off pretty easily. Who thought that was a good idea? Before we put that transmission in, it is time to convert these over to AAN lines. Since we broke these connectors and I broke that thermostat, we're going to convert all of this to off-the-shelf stuff, so if I need to replace it again, it's a whole lot cheaper. First thing we're going to do is put a little bit of tape where we're going to cut it. This will help prevent all of that metal from fraying and make it extremely difficult to put the fittings on. Let's cut it with an angle grinder. To my surprise, these are actually PTFE lines, so rather than having a rubber center, they actually have a nylon center, and we need to use special fittings for this. This is a typical AN PTFE line. We have this little nipple here that fits over that plastic PTFE line. And then we have this guy that slips all the way back first. We're going to push on that piece of aluminum, this guy. And then lastly, we screw this on, and then when you're done, it looks like this. And it can hold a decent amount of pressure. After we get this little nipple on, we have to take some scissors and trim off some of this excess material off the end here. Otherwise, you're never going to be able to screw these two pieces apart. It's like being at the barber. Nice. And then we're going to screw this bad boy on. We're going to use this AN wrench, kind of like a normal wrench, but instead of being square, it actually has some angles on it. That way you damage these fittings less. I bought this oil cooler thermostat off of Amazon for like 50 bucks, and with these new AN lines, this is going to allow us to connect directly to this. It's now finally time to put on the flywheel and the new clutch. This is the old flywheel. Notice all of these hot spots that are here, and here. And the old clutch actually kind of like glued itself to the flywheel, so that's lovely. With the new flywheel, everything looks exactly the same as the old one, but it looks much more fresh. Let's go ahead and slap this bad boy on. Lamborghini was nice enough to leave a key right where it matches up with the flywheel, so that way it should go on very easily. off all the bolts that go in the flywheel. And then a little bit of Loctite.
So that'll do you.
Bad boys were a little bit weird. You have to torque them in this order: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So kind of irregular, but that's what you got to do. That's what the manual says. This is the old clutch here. You can see that there's not a whole lot of material left on there. That's worn almost flat, whereas this new one, it's a good chunky amount there, but it's still not a ton difference between the two. Make sure you clean off your flywheel. Treat it just like you treat brakes, because that's basically what it is. I was really happy to see that the previous owner of this maybe was named. So, public service announcement. 50 foot-pounds is too much for this little bolt. Go figure. I'm not surprised, but that's what the manual said. So, we snapped one. Lovely. So I went down to True Value and got another new set of these just in case these were torqued to yield, meaning these are one-time use bolts. I know a lot of times BMWs and Audis do stuff like this, so we're going to replace all the bolts with new ones. It is finally time to put this transmission in. We got it on the engine hoist, and let's go ahead and throw it back in. I am a happy guy. We finally had that transmission in. Woo! That's a load off my back. Looks like a brand new engine. Wow, I'm really happy with how everything's come along. Next thing we need to put back on is this e-gear. That is the hydraulic and electric computer controlled shifter that actually makes this entire thing automatic. But really, it's just a manual transmission. This is the only thing that makes it an automatic. We need to first put down some gasket maker here. This needs to be perfectly sealed so oil doesn't seep out of the actuator. Now we need to put transmission fluid in, e-gear fluid, engine oil, and we also need to put in some coolant. This is not really the fill hole, but it just so happens to be a fitting that we left off the transmission when we reassembled it, so we're gonna snip off the end here and fill her up! I'm just gonna keep filling her till she screams like a hog. Scream for me, girl. Oh, I'm making a mess already. Okay, I lied. We actually need to fill you up over there. Let's see if we can do it without spilling. Probably not. We got it, boys. Next thing we're going to bleed is this e-gear system, this part here. All of these hydraulic lines go into over here. This is the reservoir, so we need to fill this up, and there's a little bleeder here, and there's also a bleeder on top of the transmission. So we're going to have to bleed from both parts. Every time you open the driver door, you'll hear it when we turn the battery on. You'll hear the pump prime. So we just need to fill it up, open the door, prime, keep doing that over and over again until hopefully all that fluid gets in here and all the air gets out of the system. They don't sell the factory e-gear fluid anymore, so this is the stuff that replaces it, CHF 202. I also use it in my McLaren. I know the stuff is good. Fill her up. Thirsty girl. I'm gonna hook up a normal brake bleeder to it, and we're gonna pump it up. This is going to create a vacuum, and then all of the fluid that gets sucked out of the system is going to get dumped into that container there rather than all over my engine. And then we're going to reconnect the battery over here. Don't judge me, I'm poor. And then after we open the door, we should hear the e-gear pump kicking on. Yep, that's the e-gear. It's trying to pump, at least. Let's crack it open. Okay, it may have decided that it's not building any pressure. We didn't leak any down, so we definitely need to, definitely got some air in the system. Starting to see some fluid come through. Oh yeah, much better. It was bone dry before.
Ooh, it's just a little dry, it's fine.
And take up a pump it up, create some vacuum.
Oh, pump it up!
And then we're gonna crack our bleeder over here. Ooh, green. We finally cleaned up our dry sump oil tank. This is a show car, Nico. In our show garage. Olio. I speak Italian. This is where this is the dry sump tank. That's where we're going to fill up 6 quarts of oil. And then we're going to turn this car on for about 2 minutes, let it cool off a little bit, and then we're going to put another 4 quarts in this bad boy. It sucks all the oil through into the engine. That way, if you're tracking this car, the idea being that the oil doesn't slosh around because it's in an external container. We're rocking some Motul 15W50. This is some thick old stuff because we live in Florida. Thick!
Damn, boy, he's thick!
And since it is so hot, you can run something like this, especially when you're tracking and when we're going to twin turbo this car. Now it's time to put back on our exhaust so we can mount our O2 sensors for our first startup. But before we can do that, we need to put our exhaust hangers that we busted all that rust off. We need to mount them to the frame here first. That way, when we set the exhaust on, it has a place to stay. We are going to use the test pipes that are coming off of our new turbo system because the old ones are all rusty and a mess. Slapping those bad boys in there. They rest ever so sweetly here and they point up. So we ended up having to take that rear hatch off because otherwise we'd melt those bad boys. It is back fully assembled, sort of. Wheels are on. We're going to lower it and then we can put the rest of our intake on and then bleed the coolant up front. Drop it down, boys. Nico didn't even wait. Yeah. Jumping the gun. It looks so much cooler lower without the hatch on. In order to finally drive this bad boy, the last thing we need to do is put some coolant in this little guy. Drink up, Steven. The time is now! Let's turn it on and hopefully it doesn't sound like it. Now that we've let this run for 2 minutes, the proper procedure is to put the rest of the 4 quarts in our oil. Okay, it's up to temp. Let's go take it for a ride. Hopefully nothing catches on fire. We have this.
The next day.
Last time we drove it was not running great. We replaced the fuel filter, replaced the spark plugs, and we replaced the coil packs. Hopefully it runs a lot better. There she is. Hopefully it works now. Next to an actual nice Lamborghini and STO. Man, hopefully when we're done with this, it'll look almost as good. Yeah, I'm poor. It's a nice Urus orange. Beautiful. Reinstall Borealis looks like. The color my car should be. The Lamborghini Essenza. That's quite a... It looks like it's built on the Huracan chassis, but it almost looks longer in the back. It could be Aventador based. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like it's an Aventador. That's why it looks longer. The dash looks like Aventador. That color is beautiful. Man, that is gorgeous. And the Storado actually looks really cool on an off-road beast. Look at these tires. Very cool. Here's the craziest part, guys. This is actually OEM Lamborghini factory paint. This is essentially like a $130 option. So this is in the 500,000 range. And honestly, the paint is so cool. I thought it was a wrap, and no, it is just really, really well done, hand painted SVJ. Man, you can't tell me that that is not a absolutely beautiful color. Beautiful car, beautiful color. We are doing a body kit on our Gallardo, kind of similar to this, but obviously I'm trash. Is driving much better with the car, the clutch relearn. It's not as jolty and obnoxious, so that's nice.
He was a fairy.
She's all strapped down, time to take her home. I kind of like the front bumper like this better, honestly. Looks like peak sweet materials. Cardboard, my favorite aluminum tape.
That's pretty good.
And premium fiberglass.
I just wanted to take a quick second out to thank our sponsor, Segola. I've been spraying exclusively with Segola guns for the past 2 years, and I've absolutely loved it. They are miles ahead of the competition. This year, 2024, the first week in November, we will be with this Lamborghini at the Segola booth. If you've been following the video series on the Gallardo, this is your perfect opportunity to come check the car out. We'll be giving away signed t-shirts. They just released their new 4600. I absolutely love it. And we are giving away one of the Segola 4600 Extremes to one lucky subscriber. November 1st, we'll be announcing the winner of a new Segola 4600 Extreme. All you need to do to enter is subscribe to the channel. Links in the description below. I love you, Segola. I love your mother.
In the next video, we're going to try to get this car running properly, hopefully. That one bank is still running a little bit weird at certain RPMs. And then after we're done with that, it's time to slap on that twin turbo kit we've been talking about. Make sure to hit that follow button and tell your mother that I love her.